Hello, bienvenue à tous. J'espère que vous allez bien. Bienvenue au VOD, bienvenue à bonne nuit, repose bien. Donc vous avez passé un bon début de week-end, vous avez bien dormi, vous êtes bien reposé. Bienvenue sur ce stream du samedi après-midi, merci pas les pattes. Aujourd'hui on va faire du Stanley Parable. Voilà, on va se prendre la tête, tranquillement. J'avoue je suis un peu fatigué donc on va faire ça tranquille. Sans trop se prendre la tête, tout ça. On va voir un peu ce que ça donne quoi. Apparemment c'est un jeu qui te retourne le cerveau, donc on va voir un peu ce que ça donne. Je pense que ça va être bien. Comment il va le VOD, merci pas les pattes. Merci Bonigiri, c'est gentil. Ça va, t'es bien reposé. T'as fait le coma, c'est bon. Alors t'as travaillé ce matin? Je sais plus si t'as travaillé ce matin. Donc on va laisser tranquillement le jeu, on va voir un peu ce que ça donne, et puis voilà quoi. Je l'ai lancé un peu hier, ça a l'air sympa, en vrai. Je l'ai lancé vite fait pour faire des petits tests. Et ça a l'air vraiment cool. Un peu ce que ça donne en vrai. J'ai bossé ce matin mais ça allait. Ah ok. Bon ça va alors. Tranquille, tranquille. Tranquille. Oula. Le jeu se lance. Il y a tout qui meurt. À l'aide. Alors. Le jeu. C'est vrai que je suis en noir et blanc. Attendez. Ouais, il y a plus de musique, je sais. Ouais. Ouais, j'ai plus de son. C'est super, j'ai plus de son. Non, je crois que l'application a bugué. Attendez, je relance. Oui. Je relance. Le jeu a l'air intéressant. Apparemment, ouais. J'ai plus de son. Ouais, j'ai plus de son. J'en prends une autre. Ok, il n'y a plus de son. Il n'y a plus de son du jeu, bon, c'est pas grave. Voilà, c'est le jeu qui peut-être qui fait ça. Alors, attendez. Stanley Parable. Et là, on va enlever le filtre de couleur que j'avais mis pour l'autre jeu. Voilà. Alors. Merci pas les pattes. Cool Sky, comment il va? Merci pas les pattes. 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 Alors. Comment il va le Sky? Mais dormi, ça va? Alors. L'heure qu'il est, c'est quelle heure? 15h15. 15h15. Bon, 16, on va dire. Coucou Chris, comment tu vas? Bienvenue. J'espère que tu vas bien. Alors, on s'est pas réveillé hier? Ouais, un peu de tout. Si seulement c'était pas que réveillé, mais ouais. On peut dire ça. Je vais bien. Oh, tant mieux. Merci pour les pattes. Vous allez bien, c'est le principal. Bon, c'est 15h15, je sais pas si on entend un petit peu. Ça doit faire le 16, mais ou alors on met 15 et puis voilà. J'étais triste. Moi. C'est pas grave, t'inquiète pas. T'es bien reposé quand même. Ouais, on peut dire ça, mais. Attendez, qui? Pas là. C'est pas les pattes. Avant de commencer, est-ce que je peux dire quelque chose? Merci d'avoir réglé l'heure les 2 fois que vous avez lancé le jeu. Ah oui, c'est parce que j'ai lancé hier pour tester. D'autres gens ne prennent pas cette étape au sérieux, ils laissent l'heure régler à 12 minutes et basta. Et vous avez pris le temps d'indiquer l'heure et j'en suis reconnaissant. C'est ainsi que vous souciez de votre expérience. Et votre attention est focalisée sur le jeu. D'ailleurs, je n'ai aucun moyen de vérifier si l'heure que vous avez rentrée est correcte. Je vais vous le dire, nous allons passer un marché. Si vous faites preuve de tellement de bonne volonté, la prochaine fois que vous lancez le jeu, et il y aurait cet écran, vous n'aurez qu'à saisir votre heure préférée. Allez-y, choisissez l'heure que vous voulez. Même si ce n'est pas la bonne heure, vous l'avez bien mérité. Pour ça, je vous laisse accéder au jeu. Super. Véronique d'amour, cool copain, comment il va? Merci pour les pattes, merci pour les pattes. Ok, tu vas bien copain, bienvenue à toi. Ah, que ça va mieux ta maladie. Espèce d'adorable. Moi, non. Espèce de malade, ça oui. Mais adorable, pas sûr. Alors, Stanley Parable, qui est apparemment le jeu qui casse le 4ème mur. Oh, ça pas d'air, regardez, c'est rigolo, ça. Il y a le PC dans le PC dans le PC. Ça a l'air très sympa. Ah, c'est ce jeu-là que l'eau, elle disait que tu pouvais faire qu'une fois. Et quand tu connais, c'est moins rigolo. Moi, je suis un peu mou d'esprit aujourd'hui, faut pas trop m'en vouloir. J'ai une latence de environ 4 secondes dans mon cerveau, pas trop m'en vouloir. C'est bien, je t'adore, toi, que VOD. Moi, c'est gentil. Merci à toi. Alors, commencez.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
C'est l'histoire d'un homme appelé Stanley.
Stanley worked for a
Stanley travaillait pour une entreprise installée dans un grand immeuble où il était l'employé numéro 427. Le travail de l'employé numéro 427 était simple. Il devait s'asseoir derrière son ventilateur du bureau 427 et appuyer sur des touches de son clavier. Les instructions lui parvenaient à travers l'écran de son bureau, lui indiquant quelle touche enfoncer pour quelle durée et dans quel ordre. L'employé 427 faisait exactement la même chose jour après jour, mais mois après mois, année après année. Certains y faisaient un abrutissement de lettres. Et Stanley adorait ce fragile instant où les instructions lui apparaissaient. Il se sentait comme né pour ce travail. Et Stanley était heureux. Et soudain, un jour, se vint un événement très curieux. Un événement qui changeait Stanley à tout jamais. Un événement qu'il ne pourra jamais oublier. Il était assis à son bureau depuis des heures quand il se réalisa que pas une seule instruction lui avait été parvenue à l'écran. Personne n'était venu le voir pour lui donner des ordres, l'inviter à une réunion, ni même le saluer. Durant toutes ces années dans l'entreprise, il n'avait jamais fait l'expérience d'un tel silence autour de lui. Assurément, quelque chose n'allait pas. Choqué et comme engourdi par les froids, Stanley fut incapable de bouger pendant de longues minutes. Mais quand il retrouva ses esprits et son calme, il se leva de sa chaise et sortit de son bureau. Waouh, je Stanley! Incroyable. C'est moi Stanley, bonjour. Pic-poc, pic-poc-poc. Quand je clique, ça fait des bruits de clavier. C'est... Oui. Bonjour, vous avez un café. Ses collègues avaient disparu, mais pourquoi? Hello Monday, c'est ça que c'est marqué. À 8 Monday. Stanley décida de se rendre dans la salle de réunion. Stanley avait beau écarquiller les yeux, il ne trouvait pas la trace de ses collègues. Ou fart. Ah, qui c'est qui a pété? C'est rigolo ça. Ok quoi? Installation. Ah si je fais clic droit ça bouge tout seul. Oh. Ok. On salle de réunion du coup. Waouh. Ouais. Apparemment on vit dans une lumière. Hein. On dirait The Office dans... comment il s'appelle dans CS. Il a touché tous les objets qui se trouvaient dans son bureau. Il n'a pas eu la mémoire et la moindre effet. Avec cela, ne fait avancer l'histoire. Je touche tout ce que je veux. Et je vais toucher des murs, et si je veux toucher des téléphones, ben je touche. C'est quoi ça? C'est un truc pour tailler les crayons, on dirait une boîte pour chat. Oui. Marqué quoi? Coffee, but. C'est bon, Nigiri, c'est gentil. Oh. Ok. Voilà, à hauteur de 2 portes ouvertes et 7 s'engouffraient dans celle de gauche. Bah non, je vais à droite. C'est pas la bonne façon de se rendre à la salle de réunion, et Stanley en était parfaitement conscient. Devrait-il d'abord passer par la salle de pause pour l'admirer? Ouais, moi je fais pas ce qu'on me dit, hein. Moi on me dit d'aller à gauche, je vais à droite. Waouh. 4B9.
Ah, yes.
Ah oui.
It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments
pas prendre de canette.
Immaculate, beautiful.
Oh, on dirait backroom.
Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Je peux pas prendre de canette.
Yes, really worth it being here.
C'est vraiment la peine d'être dans la pièce.
But eager to get back to business.
Je vais l'air de prendre des choses. Il franchit la première porte ouverte sur la gauche. Ouais, mais attends, il y a un truc là. Au moment où tu atteins Scriber. Non, je pense pas que je crois pas que ça soit un jeu qui fait
And
peur.
so he detoured through the
Il fait un
maintenance
détour par la
section,
salle de
walked
maintenance.
straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Je vais prendre l'autre et un poney. Ah ouais.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
C'est à gauche. Non, c'est à droite.
No,
Non, pas la droite.
Why would I have ever said it was to the right?
Je veux dire que c'était à droite. Qu'est-ce qui m'a pris?
It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a
Non,
minute?
partez une minute, s'il vous plaît. Je me rappelle plus. Ça rappelle plus la porte qu'il faut prendre. Bon alors,
Now, let's see, we went down right,
entrée à droite, à gauche, en bas, à gauche, à droite.
right. Yep, okay.
Moi j'ai
yes.
trouvé.
I've got it now. This story is absolutely,
Et par là.
definitely
Ah.
this way.
Mhm. Oh.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here
C'est
yet.
pas censé être là.
Spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I?
Nous on est le 427, c'est
It's
ça?
all rubbish now. The whole story
427 là-bas.
completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Le jeu il est en mode bon au lieu d'essayer de revenir parce que c'est trop chiant, on va recommencer du début.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Et essayer d'un peu moins vous écarter du chemin.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vas-y, on y va. De toute façon, on l'a vu.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted.
Déjà que j'ai recommencé le jeu, je suis reparti à zéro.
Everything should be... Oh, did something change?
Quelque chose a changé. Ouais, la pièce c'est pas la même. Vous changez quelque chose lorsque vous étiez dans la même pièce. Avez-vous changé le lieu de l'histoire ou...
Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Wow. Ça fait backroom un peu. Hein. Tic. Tac. Bon. Ah, bienvenue à la pièce. Bienvenue à la grande pièce.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Il redémarre. Bah, du coup, il redémarre parce qu'il dit bon, bah. On a l'air un peu bloqué, on va redémarrer. Mais est-ce qu'on vraiment on avance dans le jeu si on fait que redémarrer?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
J'ai raté un mot? Il a dit peut-être que j'ai raté un mémo. Peut-être dans mon bureau? Non. Ouais, je sais pas. Bon, vas-y, hein. On avance. Sail in this quarter. Wow.
Okay, yep, it's worse.
Encore pire, il n'y a plus de porte.
Remembering this wrong.
Maintenant, peut-être.
It's
C'est
possible
possible
the
que l'histoire
story
se
is
trouve à l'endroit où
where
nous
we
vivons.
just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
On va repartir dans l'autre sens pour voir si on a raté quelque chose. Bon, café renversé là. En tout cas, une chose est sûre, c'est qu'on peut pas ouvrir les portes.
Aha!
Ah
I
ah!
knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story.
Belle histoire.
Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Waouh!
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all.
Moi je reconnais,
Is this the story?
c'est une maison Half-Life ça.
So, I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Bravo, ouais, on a gagné, ouais.
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Et restart encore. Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Et il a fait une ligne d'aventure pour pas qu'on se perde.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's
J'ai envie d'aller à gauche là.
wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story?
Le problème c'est que ça donne envie d'aller ailleurs.
Simply
En
by
fait.
the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the
c'est un jeu pour VOD, ça.
manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa, 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 whoa,
Lui
whoa.
qui te dit va là-bas.
That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize.
Moi je suis la lignée.
Sure where I was going
bête,
with
hein.
all that. You know what? I think what we need right now
Oh.
is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Il a mis une musique pour me mettre dans le mood. C'est des cons. Oula. J'ai une deuxième ligne là. Il y a eu un brain fart là. Il y avait un couloir ici qui nous ramenait comme ça. J'ai tourné comme ça et plus le couloir.
Cut the music. Go back.
Il y a eu un truc, ouais, il y a eu un brain fart là. Faites demi-tour et attendez la musique.
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story.
Je vous gère ça là.
Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Il peut dire qu'il a dit qu'il fallait étudier la fougère. Oui, en fait, il y a eu un couloir. Il te menait à un endroit, sauf qu'il y avait un trait vers la droite. Du coup, je suis allé voir le trait à la droite et quand t'es revenu, il n'y avait plus le couloir. En mode quoi? Ok, donc il a dit que cette fougère allait être importante pour plus tard.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no. Line, you do know
au début.
the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh,
On revient ici.
oh no, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Et recommence.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the
Oublions
adventure.
la ligne.
What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story?
Contact Félix,
Something
comment tu vas,
exciting,
bienvenue?
daring,
Après tu vas bien.
mysterious. Oh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Ouais, nouvelle direction. Bien et toi? Bah ça va. Fatigué mais ça va.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
C'est pas prévu pour le jeu. C'est pas trop mon style en vrai. On va voir pourquoi pas avec des potes, mais j'avoue là pour le coup. Pas trop, pas trop.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
On aura quelques instants.
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Ouais.
Oh, hold up, what's this?
Ça tourne. Ouais, ça. Spin me. Wow, wow.
You're telling me that's what this is?
Et c'est le même temps
It's
qu'il
all
lance
one
les
giant
écrans, on
ending?
lance le jeu, premier
We're
démarrage.
supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just...
Dans le moment, Stanley meurt.
Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Ah. J'avoue, ça m'a fait sursauter. En fait, c'était marqué dessus tout le scénario. Dessus, il y avait marqué le narrateur redémarre le jeu. Et il était en mode non, je vais pas le faire, je vais pas redémarrer le jeu. Et du coup, ça a cassé le truc et ça a redémarré tout seul.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Et ça fait partie. Je pense que ça fait partie de la ligne. Le narrateur a oublié qu'il a redémarré le
Perhaps
jeu.
he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
On était allé à droite la dernière fois avec on va à gauche.
Yet there was
Ah,
not
là
a
c'est la réunion.
single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Comment résoudre une dispute entre les travailleurs? Et tu as souri un peu les ok. N'importe quoi. Truc de l'argent, encore plus d'argent. Des trucs, mais avec de l'argent pour acheter encore plus de trucs. Des graphes à des trucs plus de l'argent. Ouais. Plus d'argent, ouais. Le nombre de slides, on sait slide. Le shard, les slides. Pour ce coup. Donc dans le bureau de notre chef, apparemment.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
J'ai envie d'aller là. King.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
On est revenu au même endroit.
Blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt. An explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress, the fresh air of a world like this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it would be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want.
Ouais, c'est tout rouge
I
là.
want my apartment and my wife
Y'a plus
and my
rien.
job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always
Il y a un
been.
truc là. Hein.
My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Je vais te réveiller.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
On est mort de folie. Et du coup, ça redémarre. Super.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Bon, on va suivre le chemin.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Donc là, c'était à gauche.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his
là, on monte en
boss's
haut.
office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Waouh. Executive bathroom. Oh, les toilettes. Attendez, ça stream. Ah ouais. Cool le Yash, comment il va? Bienvenue. Extrême bathroom. C'est quoi? Ça va et toi? Bah ça va. Hein. Un peu fatigué, mais ça va. Bonjour. On ouvre les portes, ça y est. Ah, il tue des pandas. Business stratégie. Il y a la musique. Amuse-moi, c'est expected, boss.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Je reconnais, c'est le cosmodrome, ça. 2 sur live fatigué. Moi, courage à ta copine, on poste bien.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Là, on est passé à Abstergo, là.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the
Mind control
door of the
facility,
red
super.
mind control facility.
Ah, putain, il y a un escape, là. Non, bah, vas-y, on va aller voir en face. Donc là, on va arriver à la salle des écrans, c'est ça?
The lights rose on an enormous
forcément.
room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Je reconnais ce truc du professeur Xavier, ça. C'est vrai.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
J'ai pas encore vu X-Men, moi.
Faudrait
je regarde X-Men.
Boring job, that his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
À quoi ça me fait penser? Vas-y, dis.
But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human
Matrix.
life.
J'ai pas vu Matrix.
He would dismantle the controls once
Oui, sûrement.
and for all.
On a 3. Alors 1, 2. Ouais. Matrix soit bien en noir.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Comme un mariage. Ouais, c'est ça. Ça bien en noir dans les mariages aussi.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay
Ça que la vie du marié est finie.
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
Ouah, le ciel bleu.
Sunlight streamed into the chamber. He realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Enfin, c'est une des fins, ouais, je pense.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Il y a plein de choses à faire. Il y a y retourner, aller dans l'escape, y retourner, appuyer sur on. Il y a plein de trucs à faire.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss.
Donc en bas, dans tous les cas, on devient fou parce qu'on est au même endroit.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Il y a l'ascenseur là-bas aussi à voir.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover
4 de 8-7, 4 de 8-5 je crois.
What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
À 2-8-4-5, c'est déjà presque.
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead.
Donc là on pourra aller à gauche, on ira après. On va y aller, on va appuyer sur on.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly
Travailler là-dedans, tu meurs. Ah, c'est un peu ce que font certaines personnes. Hein. Des gens qui travaillent dans des bureaux comme ça.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad Or
Il y a ça aussi, là. Il y a des...
walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold
Il y a des
reality
1,
of his
2, 3.
past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade
On va
in
péter.
to the moment I say happily ever after.
Mort. Là, c'est giga dur. Vas-y, on essaye, hein.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Et là, il y a quoi du coup? Non, c'est pas ça, c'est là. Oh, la musique d'ascenseur. C'est long, hein. Elle est de la musique. La musique d'ascenseur. Et l'enfer. Je vais faire un trip dans go faire un stream entier avec cette musique. Quel enfer. C'est bien parce que le perso il commence à la chantonner en plus. Ah, on est revenu. Et là on monte. En fait, quand tu rappuies sur ça te renvoie. Je sais pas si vraiment tu peux atteindre quelque chose en attendant ou pas.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Parce que quand t'es trop pressé, il te met un peu de musique pour te relaxer.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward.
Ah ouais, moi je vais tout droit. Hein.
Confront his death.
Ah.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Furry dit crêpe. Mort.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Ah non. Merci pour les pattes pattes. Merci pour les pattes pattes. Cool Barchi, comment il va? Merci pour les pattes pattes. Merci pour les pattes pattes. Merci pour les pattes
And
pattes.
yet it would be just a few minutes
C'est pas les pattes pattes.
before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to
Ça va et toi?
accomplish?
Bah ça va. Fatigué mais ça va. Pour l'instant en tout cas.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now?
Tableau de paysage.
Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Le plan vous montre le bureau en début de partie. Le chemin entre le bureau de Stanley et les deux portes est le tout premier chemin conçu dans le jeu. Les sections ont été ajoutées et modifiées au cours du développement, mais l'organisation générale est restée presque inchangée depuis la première itération. Oh ouais. J'avoue que dans TF2 est dead, et je serais ok. Ah ouais. Un moins d'arrangement. Mais tes points de chaîne, tu t'es fait toi-même. Ah ouais. Le rythme lors de la section d'ouverture devait être irréprochable. Ce couloir a été déplacé et modifié afin que le joueur soit sûr d'atteindre les deux portes au bon moment. Deux portes. Deux portes constituent la toute première pièce du game design de Stanley Parable. Une fois que la salle a été créée, le reste du jeu a émergé à partir de ce point de départ, comme une exploration dans la contradiction posée par cette pièce. Le bureau. Son de bouton. La section des sons entendus dans le jeu dans chaque utilisation de bouton. Chaque son est un mélange de frappe, de clavier et de tonalité synthétiseur. Ok. Ordinateur de bureau. Play database. Que penses-tu de ce petit jeu qui retourne le crâne? Ah, c'est sympa, hein. Après, je suis assez fatigué, donc j'avoue... j'ai des fois un peu du mal à percuter, mais en tout cas, c'est très sympa pour l'instant. Le bureau, hein. Salle de maintenance. L'une des premières versions de la salle de maintenance. Oh ouais. Sympa. Annonce ultra deluxe. En décembre 2018, nous avons créé la version ultra deluxe de Stanley Parable au Game Awards. Aussi des captures tirées des vidéos présentées lors de les annonces du retard du jeu. Ok. Zone de guerre. Début de développement, nous avons imaginé une fin où Stanley se retrouverait sur un champ de bataille contre des extraterrestres. Le jeu développerait sa propre intelligence à partir de en guerre contre le narrateur. Nous avons réalisé peu après que c'était poussé la blague trop loin. Et c'était peut-être trop plat par rapport au ton du jeu. Certains l'ont aussi vu comme une manière de se moquer des amateurs de jeux de tir, ce qui n'est pas notre but. Ah ouais, Alien Base. La salle de pause. Les deux premières versions de la salle de pause. Le monde charge. Le téléphone qui fait ce bruit? Ah non, c'est ça. Limiteur de l'appartement. L'une des premières versions du choix menant à la fin de l'appartement. Limiteur vous laissant 15 secondes pour décrocher le téléphone. Ne pas décrocher le téléphone menant à une autre fin. Le monde charge. La deuxième version correspond à celle que nous trouvons dans la version finale du jeu, mais nous voulions lui donner l'apparence de l'endroit où l'on stockerait des marchandises. Okay. Une charge a toujours eu pour but de vous proposer de rester ou de sauter sur un autre embranchement. Cependant, après cette première version, nous avons décidé d'ajouter l'option où le joueur tombe et meurt. Ah ouais, il y a tellement de trucs partout. Salle du compte à rebours. L'une des premières versions de la salle du compte à rebours. Au centre de la salle des écrans. Pendant un moment, la salle des écrans pouvait monter ou descendre. Vous trouviez la liberté en haut et le compte à rebours en bas. Nous avons laissé tomber cette idée car les joueurs n'arrivaient pas à se souvenir ce qu'il y avait en haut et en bas et préféraient regrouper ces deux fins. Okay. Fin de la liberté. J'ai fait de la liberté telle qu'elle apparaissait dans la bêta. Du compte à rebours. L'un des bureaux. Une version intérieure de la fin. Compte à rebours. Et alors? Ok. Une version de la fin de la liberté dans l'alpha du jeu, d'accord. Le bureau du chef, capture d'écran des bureaux du chef en cours de développement. Ok. On revient en remerciement. Horloge de bureau. Ouais, c'est une horloge quoi. Horloge qui fait tic-tac. Salle de pause.
Stanley walked through the green door.
Une coupée de narration. Kevin Brett Knight, la voix du narrateur, a enregistré le dialogue du jeu entier. Après avoir à peu près 3 fois au cours des 2 années de développement. Voici les extraits des premières prises qui ne figurent pas dans la version finale du jeu.
Stanley stood on the snow. Now look closely, Stanley. See how it's...
Le sous-sol, première version de la sous-sol des sous-sols du jeu, d'accord. C'est bien qu'ils aient mis tout ça. Des screens de comment était le jeu avant et tout, c'est stylé. Donc là j'ai vu qu'il y avait The Stanley Parable là-bas. Là c'est quoi? La quête de game design, le niveau. Pour le niveau que William, le level designer, a envoyé à Davey, le scénariste, en tant que proposition. L'efficacité de ce design a permis à William d'être engagé pour concevoir le jeu tout entier. Si l'environnement a beaucoup évolué, l'organisation originale proposée dans cette maquette est toujours dans le jeu. C'est vrai. Dans la conception, la musique du jeu en soi, c'est pas mal. Ouais, c'est vraiment sympa qu'ils aient mis ça, ouais. C'est cool. Ouais, bien, bienvenue, j'espère que tu vas bien. Email du narrateur. Après la deuxième bande-annonce, nous avons publié. Nous avons demandé aux gens d'envoyer des questions par mail au narrateur. Nous comptions nous en servir pour promouvoir encore le jeu. Mais nous n'avons jamais trouvé vraiment comment les exploiter. Aussi une section de ces mails. C'est cool. Très bien, merci beaucoup. Bah, ça va. Fatigué, mais ça va. Bienvenue à toi. Bureau de Stanley. De gauche à droite, l'évolution du bureau de Stanley au fil du temps. Première date de novembre 2011, mars 2012 et février 2013. Oh, ça a pas trop changé encore. Ah, merci pour la quiche. Coup de plus, comment il va? Bienvenue. J'ai faim. Ouais, je sais.
Oh, look at these two. How they
Ça va et toi?
wish
Bah
to
ça va, fatigué
destroy
mais ça
one
va.
another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Manger quiche, oui.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No.
Il me dit, eh oui.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do.
J'ai beaucoup de parler de ce jeu. Qu'est-ce que tu en penses, si je peux demander? Franchement, c'est sympa.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
C'est vraiment sympa. Ouais.
Stanley worked for a
C'est un mélange de quatrième mur et tout, c'est très très cool. Ouais. Franchement, si tu veux le faire, n'hésite pas. C'est
All
vraiment
of
bien.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Après moi là, dans ma tête, j'ai un mélange de... de médicaments et de fatigue, donc du coup... Pas très représentatif, mais c'est vraiment bien. New content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Faut pas ça aussi. Ouais, t'inquiète, hein. T'inquiète. C'est un petit jeu tranquille, donc y a pas de raison.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Content, c'est quand t'es pas content et que tu deviens content, ça.
Okay, so far it's an
C'est
error.
exactement ça.
Nothing special
Salut,
yet.
il faut, comment il va?
It's just the
Bienvenue.
beginning of a
Parable.
mesmerizing adventure.
Ouais, ça va là, pour l'instant, ça va. Tout va bien.
Is it
Marche
broken?
pas.
What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long
C'est bien pour les
last,
70
it's
streams,
on to
merci
the
beaucoup,
new
c'est très gentil.
content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right, let's see.
Circle.
The jump circle?
Là, c'est du content, ça. Ça va, j'ai monté des meubles Ikea. Ah ouais. C'est quoi comme meuble, du coup? Ok. Oh, ça va.
Is that it? Surely that's not all.
Mélange de fatigue et de médoc, mais ça
There has to be something else, right?
J'ai absolument acheté ce jeu en version ultra deluxe. Ouais, ça c'est la version, du coup c'est les DLC, ça j'imagine. Enfin c'est le code, c'est la version deluxe. Prends des cafés, j'aime pas. J'aime pas les cafés.
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra
C'est pas la carotte, c'est
Deluxe
gentil.
with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Merci d'avoir joué. J'espère que vous avez aimé le nouveau
You've got
content.
to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Calex, table basse, table de chevet, salle de bain. Ah ouais, t'as de quoi faire. Hein. Effectivement. Tu veux faire ton café? Oui. Oula. Là, je fais ça, hop, et on rentre dans la pièce. Ok, donc la pièce, c'est pas la même, par contre.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Vas-y.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley...
Et dans la ventilation, j'ai un truc à te montrer.
So
C'est
I
ça.
made something special
Oh,
and tucked
sympa.
it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
2h30 avec Ikea ce matin. Ah ouais, vous avez passé 3 heures dans le magasin?
Call it the memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back
Collector
then,
edition.
video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Okay, our first kiss, my first car. Galactic Game, Mozilla Firefox Start Page. Avec les pubs à droite. Smile because it happened. Le dollar. Démonstration. Oui, c'est la démo. Unachievable, it's impossible to get this achievement. Go outside, don't play for 5 years. The new video game released today. Stanley Parable dit tout. A fait des choix durs. Ça, c'est la fin qu'on a vu tout à l'heure. On a mangé des boulettes. Ah ouais? Vous avez mangé à la cafette Ikea? Apparemment, elle est bonne la cafette Ikea. Ils ont été nominés plein de fois quand même. Il a remember Little Stanley. Oh, the hamster. Donc le poney en vrai c'est pas si mauvais. Eh oui.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable.
Apparemment c'est vraiment bon
Like
en
the
plus. Hein.
stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and
derrière
then
Ikea, tu
succeeds
manges du
to be
boulot et de la
every
cajou.
game ever created."
Ça, mais en fait ils ont une vraie cafette dans les
Every
Ikea et tout.
game
Pour moi c'est pas si mauvais.
ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Un supplément ketchup. Yes, c'est super bon. En vrai, ouais, hein. J'ai vu des mecs qui en parlaient et tout, ça avait l'air bien. Il y a le quoi en bas? Memory zone maintenance. Boulette de pain. Ah ouais.
Here's another moving passage,
Source SDK.
this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating
texture.
commentary on the nature of
Repeatable
games
carpet texture.
and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
C'est une serious room.
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no.
Je pense maintenant que je passe faire le jeu plus tard pour me donner envie. Pas trop spoiler. Pas ceci plus. Merci en tout cas pour l'accès gentil. Merci d'être passé. Longtemps si le jeu t'a fait envie.
I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Ne pas recommander. Ah oui, c'est la section commentaires négatifs.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insight.
Il me review ça, j'avais pas vu.
Imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
C'est les conteneurs des reviews Steam.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Oh, un bouton passé.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe... Well, there's sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should
Vraiment lui couper le sifflet à chaque fois.
the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unenjoyable. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. Oh, Stanley, you're back.
Il vieillit à chaque fois.
Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person.
Quel enfer.
And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exact... Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning...
Ah. Il n'y a plus le narrateur. Ah, c'est des incendies.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain.
Mais encore. Il y a la plante qui meurt derrière.
Is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Il devient fou.
End is...
À un moment, je vais me retourner, il va y avoir un truc derrière moi. On va se flash. Non, 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 ça fait exprès, regarde. En fait, ça avance le temps de plus en plus. En fait, au début, ça a avancé de 20 minutes, après de 40, après d'1 heure, après de 2 semaines, après des années, après des dizaines d'années. En fait, plus t'avances et plus... En fait, plus j'appuie, plus ça avance vite, en fait. Sauf qu'en fait, nous, on avance, mais pas le narrateur. Donc le narrateur, en fait, il se barre petit à petit. Waouh. C'est jamais la fin, c'est jamais la fin, c'est jamais la fin, c'est jamais... OMG, on est libre. Bon, finalement, je vais retourner appuyer sur mon bouton, c'était bien. Ça marche plus. Liberté. I'm free. Peut-être qu'à la base il y avait de l'eau et tout. Hein. On est libre. Et ça c'est beau. Ok, donc ça devait être le DLC du coup.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content. Après j'ai envie de voir le reste. On n'a pas fini le jeu de base encore.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
Kiriyaki. Oh ouais.
Of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
Et après c'est moi qui fais des blagues douteuses.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill.
Des 2, 8, 5, 4.
Dark secrets, the keypad, Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
T'as même plus besoin de taper le code. Ouais, il y a un passage secret. Ouais, c'est bon, il est ouvert. Même plus, il te laisse taper le code. C'est Meraman. Il y a qui à ces Meraman? Ok, c'est marrant. C'est marrant, ah oui. Mais ça c'était Kiriyaki.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Comme ça on l'a fait.
Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control.
Voilà, il va falloir comprendre le truc du compte à rebours là. Ça va être compliqué.
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Le modère le modo. Son humour est hors de contrôle. Pour une fois.
Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do.
Il y a des boutons de couleur, il y a des numéros sur les côtés.
Turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
Yeah.
It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're
Pas de
going,
violet là.
what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? But you really believe there's an answer? How many times will you replay this bit, looking desperately for a solution? 10? 100? 1,000? I look forward to finding out and to watching the bomb go off each time you fail. Just you and me and the retching explosion of fire and metal over and over and over for all of eternity. And Stanley died again. And Stanley died again. And Stanley died again. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds
C'est
until
chaud,
a
hein.
big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your...
Si je fais ça. Est-ce que je vais me faire engueuler ou pas?
This is... All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not
Ouais,
a
c'est vrai qu'il y avait
single
une touche
person
pour
here.
commencer là. On aurait peut-être dû faire ça plus
Feeling
que
a wave
quitter et
of
revenir.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
ouvre tout seul.
There's the door. Just go.
Je sais pas s'il va nous faire passer plus rapidement après les trucs des ascenseurs et tout là. Ou s'il faut tout rallumer à chaque fois.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life.
Je regarde s'il n'y a pas d'indice, mais...
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's
Je décolle putain, ça marche, des bisous, bonne
control.
journée à toi. T'es passé, c'est gentil, à la prochaine.
Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's
Si je me cale là, est-ce que je peux gratter la porte?
system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you, running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? But you really believe there's an answer? How many times will you replay this bit, looking desperately for a solution? 10? 100? 1,000? I look forward to finding out and to watching the bomb go off each time you fail. Just you and me and the retching explosion of fire and metal over and over and over for all of eternity. And Stanley died again. And Stanley died again. And Stanley died again. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big...
C'est giga chaud, hein.
No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment...
Je pense que tu dois avoir moyen de savoir ce qu'il faut faire, mais...
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
C'est vraiment pas simple. En fait, c'est pas simple parce que tu sais pas qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire. Meeting input. Oh. Violet. Ok, il y a un violet là. Et donc là il y a un violet là.
When Stanley came to a set of two open
Je pour les bébés.
to the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might... Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Il m'a dit que si je continuais, j'allais rentrer dans les illustrations. Aujourd'hui, j'ai croisé plein de chiots. Arrête de dire mais que la compagnon. Le mec m'a dit que si je continuais, j'allais rentrer dans les illustrations.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Là-bas, il y a l'ascenseur.
Here's the door, just go.
Là, si je fais ça...
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Violet, violet.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Bonjour Ramsey, comment tu vas? Bienvenue. J'espère que tu vas bien. Username access.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
C'est toi, ça va.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley
Fatigué, mais on
decided
est
to
là.
go up to his boss's office, hoping he
Ok.
might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ah. Parfois violet.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how
Parfois violet.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Ok. Welcome to Stanley to Heaven. Ouah, je suis au paradis des boutons. Le paradis est là, fin des paradis des boutons. C'est le paradis de Stanley, parce que du coup, lui il aime bien appuyer sur le bouton, tu vois. On te fait le tour, hein, non? Oui, ça se réactive. Oui, ça se réactive. Oui, oui, oui. Bleu, rouge, bleu, rouge, bleu, rouge, c'est ça. Ah, ou alors pour faire genre 4 violets. Violet, violet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. J'avoue, je sais pas. Avion au paradis, ouais, c'est cool, mais. Ah, il y avait une luciole là, j'ai vu. Là. Si c'est un effet ou. Un effet. Ouais, bah, je pense que c'est juste le paradis des boutons, c'est tout. Hein. Le succès, on est où là? Oui, oui, oui. Il nous en reste? Oui, il nous en reste plein.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks. No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
117.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open
Je vais repasser à droite pour voir.
this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes.
C'est la salle de pause, on
This
s'en
room.
fout.
What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
On était parti par là, mais je crois que par là il y avait un truc.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Non. Do not jump from the cargo. Pendant que ça bouge, ça peut permettre de mourir. Ok.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
What? Really?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
2B1.
Now listen
Oh,
carefully.
un porte
This
rouge,
is
porte bleu.
important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Vas-y, on va l'écouter.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy. No, wait. Where are you going? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh.
Aïe.
Thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Qu'est-ce qu'il va faire? On va se faire par un gros laser, tu vois. C'est beau. Ouais, c'est beau, hein. Ôtez-moi votre énergie. C'est ça le Genki Dama, en vrai. Un peu. Oh. On va pas les cœurs, c'est gentil. Mais alors, et alors? Vas-y, je me casse.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this. No. No, no, what are you doing? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Non. Laisse-moi crever.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over?
Bon.
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Ouais.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more
Read
careful
the
with
base.
time from now on. When Stanley
Donc à
came to a
droite.
set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Non, on va prendre l'ascenseur, mais on va pas descendre.
By the employee lounge first.
Ouais, on peut prendre l'ascenseur, on peut descendre et on peut prendre, comment il
The
s'appelle
lounge was sublime, a work of
On peut
art.
prendre la porte...
Eager to get back to
Je crois qu'on avait
business,
pris la rouge pour prendre la bleue.
Stanley took
Pour
the
voir.
first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot
On
here.
va essayer de descendre, on va essayer de descendre en chemin pour...
Really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me
Là, on a pris la rouge, on va prendre
prove
la bleue.
that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ouais, et là, on prend la bleue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
La bleue, elle est là.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices?
5.
Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
5.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Oh. Et leaderboard.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
5.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game,
Oops.
the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Quel enfer. Quatre heures. On va voir. Hein. Oh, vas-y, crève.
You heartless bastard.
De salaud sans cœur.
You do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
Vous détestez les bébés ou par mépris pour moi?
To do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Parce que quand tu envoies bébé.png dans feu.gif, c'est ça?
Aha!
Ah, c'est... comment il s'appelle?
What do you think this game is about, Stanley?
C'est Fire...
What's our
Fire, je sais plus
backstory?
quoi.
What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Ils se sont vraiment fait chier à refaire un jeu dans un jeu, quoi.
No, 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 it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
Vite, bloquez-le, c'est un monde ouvert.
Thank goodness, Stanley, what a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing, that big, open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Ah, c'est Rocket League, putain.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Je les mange les cœurs, c'est super bon.
Okay, so what
Ah ouais, ils mangent
exactly
des
do
cœurs,
we
tout
do
ça.
here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Ouais.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball.
Ouais, on a 2 balles.
Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls!
Ouais, on a plein de balles. Ouf, ouf, la balle.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a
Il
really...
faut rechercher la balle. Ah ouais.
Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is
Le
my...
droit de s'amuser, super.
And what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best. Take care, Stanley.
Mhm.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Wow.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come.
Pour qu'il progresse. Là, je vais tomber, mais de toute façon, je vois rien. Oh. On plus rien.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Ok.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Donc c'était la porte
What
bleue,
could
ça.
it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
J'ai un Disney vs the End.
When Stanley came to a set of
donc là, c'était à
two
droite.
doors, he entered the door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Donc non, pas à gauche, tout droit.
Stanley was so bad at following.
Et là, on va jusqu'au bout de l'élévateur.
Years ago. Look, Stanley, I
Oh,
think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
L'ouvrir ça ou pas? Non. Oh!
That's her, Stanley.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Ah, salut.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Alors oui, mais j'aimerais bien...
Sorry, but you're in my story now. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Ah, je sur le clavier.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
G.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
H.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
C'était pour regarder la télévision.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
Il a pas de
First, he
télé.
imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Il peut passer du temps entre potes.
So he went further.
Salut
He
Jico, comment il va?
imagined that he came to two
Bienvenue.
open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
T'es pour préparer le dîner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Bien pour lire les histoires aux enfants.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Oui, pour dire à votre femme que vous l'aimez.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Il pour aller vous coucher.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
On ne rien remettre en question.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Ok. Trouver une amie de prendre une douche, je vais m'opposer et toi. Moi ça
All
va.
of his co-workers were gone. What could it be?
Vraiment très fatigué,
Stanley decided to go to the
mais ça
meeting
va.
room. Perhaps
On est
he
là.
had simply
Pour l'instant,
missed
ça
a
va.
memo.
I like work. I just hate my boss. Voilà. Vas-y, new content.
Good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Bon, je pense qu'on arrive à la fin là. Chose près, à part le truc à la fin du bureau.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Wow.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Là, c'est les diapos des logos. Ça dépend pas les merci d'avoir regardé mes diapos.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Wow.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Wow, et les t-shirts Stanley Parable 2. Tout de réconfort de Stanley Parable, décoration de bureau, trou sans fond.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Get well get someday.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Évidemment, il te demande ton avis. Tu lui dis l'un, il prend l'autre. Vraiment.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right, infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
La question c'est est-ce que j'y reste longtemps?
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things. Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very
Super.
excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Mostly Infinite Wall. J'adore comme ils ont... J'aime bien comme ils ont corrigé. Au début c'était le trou infini, maintenant c'est le trou quasiment infini. Il est pas bien fini quand même. Je me doutais bien qu'il y avait une douille avec ce trou. Donc ça on l'a fait. Ça c'est le truc des ballons, on l'a fait. A new easily achievement. Achievement. Pose the lever, receive the new achievement.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident?
Test
well,
achievement.
I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yeah, okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Ça marche pas. La machine à succès, elle marche pas. Bon, tant pis. Ah, non, je crois que c'était ouvert. Là-bas? Non. Comment on se casse?
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Ok, là, il y a eu le truc des sauts.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Oh. That's new. Là-bas, il y a quoi? L'assurance bucket. Armette champion du monde. Button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Epilogue.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Un bouton qui est le nom du joueur qui joue.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game... Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Je suis Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Je suis Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Je suis Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Jim.
Oh. Un peu plus de gym. Que la porte en bas elle est ouverte. Donc on peut aller en dessous et appuyer sur le bouton. Non. Celle-là est ouverte. Non. Celle-là est ouverte. Bon, bah on sera plus de gym, c'est pas grave. Il est pas ressorti le bouton.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Il y a un new office. Oh, quel enfer. Il y a des menus orange. Donc ça on l'a fait. Le bucket on l'a pas fait. Merch. No screenshot. Oui ça on l'a fait, c'est le truc des ballons. Ça on l'a pas fait.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley,
Bucket.
anytime
I want
you're
a
holding
bucket.
the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
I want a bucket.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Je garde le bucket.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Bon, ça on l'a fait. Ça là-bas on l'a fait. Le Easy Achievement on l'a fait. Ça on l'a fait. Au fond c'était le trou, on l'a fait. Le Datsun on l'a fait. C'était le... J'espère qu'on a fait. This map. Button c'est the names on l'a fait. Merch on l'a fait. Sitting over champion on l'a fait. Bucket on l'a fait. Office décoration on l'a fait. Epilogue. Collectible Infinite All. On a tout fait. Okay. Bon bah exit. Voilà. Je sors avec mon bucket.
Oh, goodness. Stanley, this is fairly awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to the collectibles exhibit. You see, there is a surprise I was going to spring on you later, and it involves the collectibles. And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the collectibles, okay? All right, I'll get out of your hair now.
À 9. Ah ouais, j'ai pas vu. Ah oui, j'ai pas vu ça. The bucket. Non, j'ai pas la rêve, j'avoue. Oh.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle.
C'est pas le bucket du démo là?
You simply collect all of them and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Sur 6, super. Collègues des malls.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Ok, mais une ambiance chill. Ouais, franchement, c'est bien. Hein. C'est pas un jeu d'horreur, hein, donc oui. Wow.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Wow. Il y a un autre succès.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Wow.
This is the story of a man named
Ils vont passer.
Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was
les ballons bleus.
employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Donc là on est dans Stanley Parable 2 là.
All of his
C'est
co-workers...
le même avec des ballons.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
C'est exactement le même avec des ballons. Et il y a le bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Je sais pas ce que je vais faire avec le bucket, mais je fais le bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy, it's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say.
Casser une fenêtre. On va casser une fenêtre.
Stanley and the
J'ai
bucket
essayé déjà, on
walked
voit.
upstairs to the boss's office.
It's a bucket.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Des collectibles.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
N'importe quoi. Ils ont vraiment mis des figurines partout, quoi. Ils ont mis des collectibles.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Ils sont crus dans l'état de compagnie.
Stanley and the
Ça
bucket
ressemble un
walked
peu.
straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Que c'est sorti avant l'état de compagnie, je crois.
On an enormous
C'est la
room
différence.
packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Alors,
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that but at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Ok. Let's go, on a fait la fin des oiseaux. C'est mignon, oui.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
Bon, bah... Je vais te regarder. Si je trouve une solution par rapport à la salle des codes, là. Stanley Parable. Quoi c'est bombe ending. Parable bombe ending. Ah mais il n'y a pas vraiment de fin en fait. Voilà qu'il faut... Ah oui apparemment ils te disent ce qu'il faut faire. Bah apparemment ils te disent ce qu'il faut faire. Bon. Ok. Pas appuyer partout en fait, mais bon. Non, je pense qu'on va arrêter là. Je pense qu'on a bien vu.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors.
Et grand succès.
He entered the door on his left.
Mais il y avait une fin. Ouais, il y a une fin, mais... Compatriote, comment tu es bienvenu. Quitter le jeu et relancer le clic 15 fois sur la porte. 8. Le succès, sprint. Ne jouez pas Stanley Parable pendant 10 ans. Comment ça va? Bah ça va. Très très fatigué, mais ça va. Tu vas changer de jeu? Non, je pense que je vais arrêter juste. Ça va le cerveau? Ouais, ça va. Juste très fatigué, mais sinon ça va. Non, c'est très sympa. Oh, ça m'a pas tant retourné le cerveau que ça en vrai. Après, j'ai le cerveau qui est retourné de base aujourd'hui, donc... Un peu plus, un peu moins. Comme des faits d'Eb. C'est pas trouver les collectibles.
Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not coming to a staircase. Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Wow.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanley under your belt.
En tout cas, si jamais ça vous intéresse de finir le jeu à 100%, de ramasser toutes les figurines et tout, je vous invite à l'acheter. Franchement, il est bien.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss.
C'est un très bon jeu.
He left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that.
Et
And in
voilà,
such a
n'hésitez pas.
competitive economy, why
Ça, si
had
vous
he-
avez un doute. Le jeu est très très cool. Ah oui, c'est vrai qu'il y avait ça aussi.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps when Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the
Si je
door.
vais à droite, hein.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Là, je vais à gauche.
And so he detoured through the
On était
maintenance
descendu
section,
là, peut-être par
walked
là.
straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Là, je reviens dans la bonne, dans le bon trajet, c'est ça? Oui, je reviens dans le bon trajet. Toi, du compulsionning, c'était instinct. Il a fermé la porte, le truc.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ok. Wow.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Ok. Bon, nous, on va arrêter là. C'est très sympa. Sympa, mais je suis extrêmement fatigué et j'avoue, la suite m'intéresse pas plus que ça. Et du coup, c'est marqué Stanley Parable 2, pas mal. On a droit, on a droit au son de la musique ou on va se faire voir? Ça marche plus! Attendez. Voilà, ça marche plus. En fait, j'ai plus du tout le son. J'ai plus du tout le son de la musique. A tout pété. C'est quand j'ai lancé le jeu tout à l'heure, ça m'a. Maintenant, j'ai plus le son du tout. Je sais pas pourquoi. Bon, bah, pas de musique. Tant pis. Bon, on va s'arrêter là. Moi, je vais y aller. Je vais vous envoyer chez Freddy. Et moi, je vais aller mourir dans mon coin. Je vais aller mourir. Je fais des bisous. On se retrouve mardi à partir de 6h pour du Persona. T'as fini ou tu changes de jeu? Non, j'ai fini. J'ai fini. Je suis en train de mourir. J'ai 42 de pics dans mon cerveau. C'est pas possible. Merci pour le stream. Mais merci à vous d'avoir été là. J'espère que ça vous a plu quand même, sur le petit stream, malgré ma mort mentale. Et on se retrouve mardi à partir de 6h pour du Persona. D'ici là, je vous souhaite à tous un bon week-end. Prenez soin de vous. Et reposez-vous bien. Des bisous. Ciao, ciao. Et merci d'avoir été là. J'espère que ça vous a plu.